que hay en tus ojos con solo mirar, que estás cansado de andar y de andar, y camina girando siempre.
Ready to depart. Oh, is it time to go? Is it really true? To be with my parents, mi mamá y mi papá, so close to my heart, but yet so far away. Is it time to go? Butterflies swirling in eager anticipation. I've waited so long to have a new home, to start a new life. Is it time to go? Leaving the only home I've known, but ready to depart. Open heart, open mind, ready to embrace the future and make it mine. Is it really time to go?
This film features the stories of 4 bilingual families across 2 generations who attended schools in California. Graduate students in elementary education at California State University Fullerton gathered their oral histories in order to help teachers better understand the linguistic and cultural needs of Latino youth at school. This project helped teachers understand and connect with their students across cultures and languages. In this film, you will hear poems created by these teachers based on their oral history interviews about schooling, family, and work. While national policy espouses to leave no child behind, schooling policies, practices, and curriculum do not always reflect the lives or languages of our young people. Bilingual children in California have grown up during restrictive English-only schooling policies and strong anti-immigration public sentiment in the last 20 years. We wondered, what barriers have bilingual bicultural youth faced during their schooling years? How have families persisted in the face of these barriers? How do bilingual bicultural families define success for themselves and their children? And finally, how can we as teachers apply what we have learned about our families in the classroom? Currently, over 100 languages are spoken in homes and communities across the United States. Nearly 1.6 million school children, 1 in 4, in the kindergarten through grade 12 public educational system in California alone are English learners, ELs, or learners of English as an additional language. English learners are more likely to be at risk academically than their English-speaking peers. The dropout rate of Latino students is disproportionately high, reaching 44% in 2001 compared to a 7.4% among non-Latino students. Yet the term English learner, or EL, does not apply to more than 3/4 of young Latinos in the U.S. who are fluent in English or are bilingual. Often, policies and practices do not recognize or support a diversity of bilingual communities, such as migrant, transnational, and indigenous youth. Rather than focusing narrowly on achievement gaps, equity-based researchers advocate identifying opportunity gaps in the institutions of work, school, and government that disproportionately impact families in poverty, families of color, and bilingual families. Verdugo and Flores argue that, although the challenges posed by ELL students are significant, it is less clear what strategies and programs educators can use to improve the educational experiences of this population. Much of this ambiguity is due to the lack of research and information, inappropriate educational policies, and the inability of educators to understand ELL students and their backgrounds. In this film, we present the stories of 4 bilingual families across 2 generations who attended California schools. Each story reflects the rich assets that bilingual communities bring to schools, the assets or funds of knowledge that teachers can learn about and utilize in the classroom. Families use their deep cultural knowledge every day as they interact, express ideas, and make meaning together. We hope that this knowledge can find more of a place at school, in the environment, interactions, and curriculum with which young people engage. Jose and his daughter Yesenia live in Riverside and are of Mexican descent. Jose is from a single-family home that strongly valued education, while also working hard to support the house financially. Jose passed this value of education to Yesenia. In their interviews, Jose and Yesenia shared stories about family struggles and support, educational obstacles, and preserving cultural identity and heritage.
Because
Did your mom didn't want to provide that, or why was the reason why you didn't continue?
the main reason was because we didn't have enough money to go to high school at that time. Especially my mom, she got divorced and she was a single mother. So.
Okay. Did any of your siblings, your brother or sister, attend?
My older brother went to high school. He didn't finish it. He went for 2 years, but he didn't finish high school.
Oh, okay. La campana de la escuela. It is time to go home. No. Es tiempo para trabajar. Sí. I am 10 years old. Yo quiero jugar. No. It is time to work. Sí. I need to hurry. I want to study. Sí, pero ahorita no. No autobús escolar. It is so far, but again so close. In my heart, yo quiero ir, pero again I can't go. Me gusta ir a la escuela, pero again I can't go. Estoy triste, pero again I can't go. Me pongo a pensar, pero it is so far, but again so near. In my heart, no puedo ir. Con mucho orgullo. I visit my family in Mexico. I love going to Mexico. I talk to my abuela. I talk to my abuelo. I dance a folclórico. I sing a ranchera. I am proud to be a Mexican American.
Virginia and Marty are mother and son who both grew up and currently live in Southern California. Marty is a mortgage lender, and Virginia is a retired assistant teacher and stay-at-home mom. Virginia and her siblings were not allowed to speak Spanish at home and attended schools with English as the language of instruction. In their interviews, Virginia and Marty shared stories about Americanization, discrimination, and education.
And other than that, they obviously, if we weren't getting good grades, I'm sure there'd been, different reactions from my parents. But since we got basically good grades, then we didn't have to, worry about too much. So obviously they wanted to see us do well, get good grades, and move on to college.
Good. We couldn't speak Spanish in the house. I mean, no one spoke. The only time my parents spoke Spanish was when they didn't want us to know what they were saying.
So why, I think you mentioned he didn't want you to have an accent.
Right.
Why do you think he didn't want you to have an accent?
Because he felt we would have a better future if we would speak English properly.
English only. Speak English only, says Dad. You don't want to have an accent. Why, I wonder? But I don't question him. I don't worry. Mom and Dad speak Spanish, only to hide their conversations. We speak English only. I don't question. I don't worry. I am American. Do your best. I love school. I love learning. I have lots of friends. It is important to do my best. School is fun. My teachers are nice. It is important to do my best. School will benefit me. I go to school for my benefit. I do my best. We are dark. Everyone wants to meet us, since there are 2 of us. The neighbors called us beaners. Once they got to know us, they found out we are just like them. Now we are best friends. We are the only brown ones out of our friends. Look how dark we get in the sun. It doesn't change anything. My friends are still my friends.
Mary and Linda are mother and daughter, born and raised in Santa Ana and Huntington Beach. Mary attended California State University Northridge, and Linda attended UC Irvine. In their interviews, they shared stories about discrimination and success at school.
I remember one day, I always had my 2 pigtails when I went to school. one day I was so happy because I finally convinced my mom to let me go to school with my hair down. And you know, the same teacher, she was very upset, and she sat me in front of the entire class, facing the class, and she parted my hair down the middle. She took one side and began to braid it, and she made me take the other side and braid it in front of the entire class, and told me never to come back to school with my hair down. Now, I was the only child in this class with pigtails. There were no other children with pigtails. I was happy to have my hair down, but you know, that was the end of it. And I would come home and I would tell my mom, oh, you know, this happened. And my mom, like I said, not being very educated and not knowing English, really didn't know what was going on. So would say, oh, Mija, how nice of the teacher. How nice that she did your hair. Not knowing that she was discriminating.
They definitely support education. It was always one of their strongest moral views that was always made a point that we would be educated.
Yeah. And your mom was an educator at
and my
St.
mom
Simon
was
Jude, Spanish.
A Spanish teacher at St. Simon and Jude, yeah.
Discrimination. Bitter discrimination. She was as white as snow, filled with hatred for my brown exterior. Am I less than she? For neither one of us chose to look the way we do, merely a child at the mercy of a woman with a narrow-minded perspective. I would like to call her my teacher, but a condemner better suits this woman's barbaric behavior. For one day I proudly wore my hair down, rather than my usual braids to school. Snow White cruelly called me to the front of the classroom. To make an example of me before my young peers, she began to braid my hair, making it very clear to never wear my hair down again. In her eyes, I had no right to attempt in fitting in, for I could never shed the heritage God gave me. Little did she know I was meant for so much more. Should our paths ever cross, pity will fill my core. For she will never know the true meaning of hatred, only a warped version of generalization, created by her own upbringing. So I pray for her tonight to see the light. Sweet success. In my world, Snow White is as sweet as can be. She treats her dwarves with love and affection. Does she not see any of us differently? Our playground, our forest, filled with much beauty to gaze upon, learn, and grow from. Our loving teacher takes me by the hand and points towards the shadows. Lurking amongst us in the darkness is a murky past, a world where she and my mother once lived, where the color of my skin was a matter of concern. She gracefully says, I will protect you from the shadows as much as I can, but as you grow, you may see them from time to time. Do not be afraid. Darkness only lives in those who are stuck in the old days. I could not help but think how lucky I must be to be alive in a time full of sunshine. She then looked me directly in the eye and promised, one day the sun will reach noon and all the shadows will disappear. All we need is time. Educational barriers. Constantly running to catch up with the walking. In clear sight they are laughing and learning. Just up the hill, their tongue our greatest barrier. It's what makes us stumble downwards when almost there. Does this roller coaster ever end? My legs are growing weak, begging me to stop, for I see the other runners beginning to stop. They catch a fresh breath air. Some even stop completely and turn around, slowly walking down what feels more like a mountain than hill. Where are they going, I wonder? The road to success is above, not below. Still I push forward, forcing the pain of difference to subside. With my eyes solely on the prize, if I succeed, this win will not only pertain to me. If I win this race, my children will be among the walking. I sacrifice myself for a greater good, and that I can surely do.
Sonia and Rudy are mother and son living in Southern California. In her childhood, Sonia's family lived in El Salvador during politically unstable times. They separated and reunited in California. Rudy participated in AVID, a college preparatory program, and currently attends Riverside Community College. In their interviews, Sonia and Rudy shared stories about anticipation, acceptance, and assimilation.
I came here when I was 12 and I was in 6th grade. And she told all the kids, I know you want to be friends with Sonia and Sonia doesn't speak English. She already knows how to speak Spanish, so could you please teach her how to speak English? And I love that, because nobody spoke to me in Spanish. I learned how to speak English and I was talking English in like 2-3 weeks when I got here. I mean, of course I have an accent, but it changed my thinking, Yeah, I already know how to speak Spanish.
Find this. Well, you have like the, not to be, racist, but you had like the white guys, primarily football, baseball players on one side. You had the African American, other football players, and on another side you had all the Mexican soccer players, and then within that, everyone just stayed to their own side. Combination of the Spanglish kind of thing.
Okay. It was just, you spoke Spanish at home with your mom and dad, and not school and whatever, you just spoke English, really. Primarily, yeah. First, she was holding my hand, and she said it in the nicest way, where I felt, but I just felt nurtured by her. I did. I didn't feel like, oh my God, she's, she's how do you say it? Some people say, I feel like she was picking on me. No, I didn't. And, or whenever she heard someone trying to talk to me in Spanish, she never stopped them or anything, but she just said, but she already knows it that way. So now tell it to her the way you need.
A time to grow. A bud emerging from dark soil, coaxed to grow by the warmth and brilliance of an inviting sun. I was that bud, unable to communicate, different yet the same, but coaxed and supported by my first teacher, a welcoming teacher, nurturing and caring, supporting and influencing me to learn the language, to communicate with classmates, to be a part of my new world. Playing the game. In school, in class, with teachers, I speak English. It's what's expected. It's what I do. But on the soccer field, with my compadres, we communicate in our own way. A little English, a little Spanish. It's how we speak. It's how we bond. Híjole. There's nothing to question, nothing to ponder. Born in America, following the rules of the game, on and off the field.
This oral history project helped teachers in Orange County imagine how family histories might become an emergent curriculum in the classroom, in which the stories of families become texts to read, discuss, analyze, and produce actions about. Family stories become the tools of teaching and learning. Oral histories allow us to listen carefully to the families we work with. To develop feelings of connection, however, requires that we examine our own assumptions about the experiences of bilingual communities. As educators, conducting oral histories and teaching young people to interview their own families opens us to multiple perspectives on being and becoming bilingual. Graduate student and teacher Regina reflects on the pedagogy of oral history.
As an educator, I will integrate oral histories into my curriculum in order for my students to be culturally aware. I will prepare myself in learning about my students' backgrounds in order to build my curriculum that will include part of their culture. I will dedicate several days throughout the school year to share things about who they are and where they come from. I will teach my students to respect each other and participate in different cultural events when possible. As a teacher, I will be happy to make arrangements for special guests to come in and talk about their family history and contributions. Moreover, I will make sure I get involved in my community and attend different events that are part of my students' culture. I will not stop learning and sharing about the importance of oral histories in our classrooms.
que hay en tus ojos con solo mirar, que estás cansado de andar y de andar, y camina girando siempre en un